to the Cattle USA Daily Podcast. Today, we are welcoming back Dan Gerhold onto the podcast to give us a market update report on what is happening in the world as far as markets go and just everything else in between. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this episode with Dan.
Cash cattle.
Stop.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. You found, that's cash.
That's cash.
What back roads of the internet did you have to go to find that?
Hey, you scour the internet enough, you can find anything. I still haven't found the Epstein list, but yeah, we found all the fun shirts, so.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
It's Cash Cattle Week, Lauren. We've got to represent, Come on, let's go, boys.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know why I ever doubted you in your shirt finding abilities, because I will never do that again.
Yeah. We've got more where these came from, so
I'm
pretty pumped.
Ecstatic.
Yep, absolutely.
The closet at the office is starting to overfill now, huh?
Yeah, my wife mentioned I ran her out of hangers. Need to hold up for a little bit. Maybe run a repeat on a few shirts.
There you go. We can have a good cycle going every few weeks. Just cycle them through.
Absolutely.
But that shirt is only allowed to come out if the cattle market's doing good. If it's not, then it's not here.
Agreed.
It's not allowed to come out.
Yeah, we're gonna, I don't know, find a shirt with some swear words if cattle are going down, I guess. Yeah.
Be like, okay, before you even start listening to the podcast, you're gonna know how today's going based off of what Dan's wearing.
I like it. That's a great idea.
I'm here for it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So, did you get all recovered from big trip to Dodge?
I did indeed. Got back on Saturday. I had to stop on the way home and get myself several energy drinks. I was exhausted leaving. I don't know why, but I was exhausted. Got home and got back, pretty much walked in the door, said hi to my husband. He said, "You smell like a sale barn." I said, "I wonder why." Went and took a shower and went to bed. And then Sunday, we didn't do a whole lot either. Got up, went to church, and I was lazy the rest of the day. And it was great. It was great. Yep. How was your trip back?
I got pulled over in northern Kansas. Yeah, I don't get pulled over very often, but by rights, he had me. I was substantially breaking multiple laws, so we'll leave it at that. Nice guy, though. He was just doing his job. I deserved it, but yeah, got home late, just went right to bed. Same thing. And then Sunday was really, really hot, so I didn't get much recovery time. Had to go do some farm work, but yeah, no, it was a good trip. Great event.
I can't believe you got pulled over.
Note to self, don't speed in Kansas.
You can speed in Kansas. There's just certain towns you can't speed in, or certain counties maybe you don't speed in. You can speed on I-70. Get on I-70 and I roll 85 the whole way. Solid 10 over. They're not touching you. You're totally fine. You could pass cops all day long. And that's state troopers. They're not going to touch you. You're fine. But if you get into some of these small towns in Kansas and you're going 5 over, you're getting pulled over.
So he didn't get me in town. I came out of a town and I was behind several semis. The cruise control was set at 85 before I hit town. I don't remember ever setting it after town, so I really don't know where he clocked me. The long story short is he walked up to the window. Do you know what the speed limit is? Well, my dash is saying 70, so I'm going to tell you 70. He's like, "Do you know how fast you're going?" I'm like, "Honestly, no." He's like, "Well, probably because you were on your phone." I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Well, your dash says you were going 85. I'm like, "Oh, okay." I mean, you're really not going to argue with that type of stuff, Laura. Yeah. I earned them.
It's going to bite my tongue and nod my head. And
yes,
sir. Yes, sir.
Yep, there's no arguing, no nothing. Yeah, sorry, officer. Yeah.
Oofta. Did you at least have your seatbelt on?
I did, yeah.
He didn't get you for a seatbelt.
Is that bad down there? I mean,
yes.
Yeah.
They will nail you for a seatbelt if you're not wearing it, which my dad has gotten multiple times. He's one of those people that's he'll get into my brand new car that's it's a 2020, and he'll get in, and these newer cars don't shut up. about the seatbelts. Like
Yep.
solid 15 minutes. And I'm like, boat, could you put your seatbelt on? Like at least buckle it behind you. Like
Yeah.
I'm just tired of listening to the damn thing.
Exactly. I don't blame.
So,
They're obnoxious.
jeez Louise.
Yeah.
Such a fun trip back.
Learned my lesson, yeah. Yeah. Learned it for sure. So I don't know. Let's
Oofta.
hope we can get this cattle market to continue rallying so we don't add insult to injury. So bought a
Yes.
couple loads of cattle and yeah, it was a good time down in Dodge.
Oh yeah.
They
Oh
do a
yeah.
great they do a great job putting that on.
It was a blast. It was a lot of fun. I am happy to be home though and back into the groove of things. So, hoorah. How's the cattle market doing?
Yesterday gapped higher, big gap higher. No
Mhm.
surprise to be completely honest. I think a lot of that was hedgers blowing out. I don't like to see that type of action because that's how highs get made. Shorts blowing out causes open interest to drop. We saw the open
Yeah.
interest report this morning, so we lost, 1,000 contracts, I believe. Inevitably dropped back down, filled the gap. Some of that could have been the algos, some of it could have been lack of buying once we lost those hedgers blowing out, but inevitably ended up closing back near our open, both fats and feeders. So it's one of those things. You look at these charts and like fat cattle to me have an opportunity to go push a touch higher. They didn't quite touch June's old high, but they were close enough that I think we've got an opportunity to probably bust it today or this week at the latest. Same time, cash cattle, they're talking higher money this week. So if we get some sustained cash moving higher, I think we could see some more buying on the fat cattle side. Feeders on the other side have me really, really nervous right now. I don't know if I mentioned it on the podcast last week or the week prior, but 332 to 333 was my target. Coincidentally, that's right where we settled yesterday, and that was after a big move higher, gap higher, turned around, reverse, went lower, and then came right back. So we've got a premium to where the index is right now. I think as we get, into deeper into August and September, it wouldn't surprise me guys pull off grass with heavier yearlings. We're not selling 8 weight, 750, 8 weight yearlings like we used to off grass. They're 950, 10 weights. That's not going to help the case for the index pushing higher. In fact, that would help to drag it down. Your 9 weights are down in that 310, 320, while your 8 weights are up at 330, 340. So if we see more of those 9 weights, you're going to pull that index down harder. Right now, there's no incentive to pull off grass early. You've got plenty of rain, and the market's telling you we want the heavy cattle. Inevitably, I think a person needs to look at that October LRPs, protect this 333 number, because it wouldn't surprise me by the time we get out to October. I wouldn't be shocked if the index is down closer to that 320 money. It's a seasonal sell for feeder cattle, just from the standpoint there's more supplies increase the deeper we get into August, September. And at the same time, your farmers are out in the field. They're not buying cattle. It's still hot. Nobody's excited. So I think we do have to look at some coverage here. Feeders, like I mentioned, have more risk for a 10, 20. Let's just call it a 10% correction. Definitely reasons to be a little cautious there. Overall, fundamentals haven't changed post report. USDA did make some revisions and dropped the size of the cow herd substantially. I think about it, what was it, 400,000 or 500,000 head from back in 2023, since we didn't have a 2024 report. So that was good to see a revision there. Overall, I still not sure I believe all the numbers, but at the same time, they also showed us that we didn't place that many cattle in June. I think that's going to continue here in July. In the travels, I did notice a lot of empty pens here and there scattered everywhere, especially I would say, especially in the South, and that report showed it. It looks like Iowa, Nebraska, South Dakota, Washington, maybe. They were the ones really loaded the boat last month on placements. But your other states, close the Mexican border run feeders drastically higher, and you're going to limit how many these guys are willing to place. So especially in the summer heat. So all in all, seen some remarkable video sales for these fall cattle. A common question around the LRPs is if I get these video cattle bought and they're October deliveries, what can I do with them? Well, thanks to the rule change from RMA, you can now LRP those cattle. that night after you buy those cattle. So you do have the risk once you sign a contract to forward to take delivery later on. Excuse me. So you need to protect that risk. So let's step out there. Look at that January, March feeder contract. You're talking 324, 320 in those months. That's still one hell of a price that we need to be covering. So, like I mentioned, I'm all in all, I'm still slightly bullish, obviously because supply side, we're in the dog days of summer on demand. So it's not a ball of fire. I think we're getting closer and closer to putting a bottom in the boxes. I will say, kind of rambling here, sorry, Lauren, but
Go for it.
going back to early last year, the hog industry experienced something that just completely wrecked them. I mean, it was all the way through the industry. The packers were losing money, the finishers, the sow units, they were losing money. And it was all caused by the retailers. So inevitably what happened was retailers were forced to raise their prices because the cutout was screaming higher on the hogs. So they raised their prices. All of a sudden the consumer starts cutting it back a little because of those prices. We saw five and a half, $6 bacon. And what happened was the consumer and the exports cut back. Now all of a sudden that cutout starts dropping at the wholesale level, but the retailers kept their prices at the grocery store where they were. So they held that $5 to $6 bacon there. Inevitably, the consumer kept cutting back. The retailer wanted to improve their margins. They really didn't care how much they moved. They just wanted to make money. At one point, I think I did the math. They were making like 2.5 to $3.5 a pound. I mean, just not enjoyable, but inevitably it wrecked the hog market. I'm a little bit concerned we could see that right now because the retailers are doing the same thing in beef. It's very, very normal this time of year for them to try and improve their margins. So you're seeing choice box beef slip back. You're seeing, your primals pull back and get more realistic as the cutout or the beef cutout looks. But at the same time, those grocery prices at the meat counter are not changing. So they're still charging that 25 bucks a pound for the ribeye. So they're working on their margins. Inevitably, that could slow down demand. Now, as I mentioned, it's the dog days of summer. Not a lot of people grill ribeyes every other night, in this type of heat. But at the same time, let's hope and pray that we get some relief at the grocery counter, as we come into late August and September, October, when we normally see that thing bottom and start grinding higher.
Yeah, 100%. How is the grain market doing?
Grains suck.
They kind
I
of
mean,
do.
they do. They do. Not a lot of relief. I think a month ago we were kind of in a seasonal buy for wheat markets, and that's gone nowhere. Corn crop looks great, other than guys that have been twisted up in storms the last several weeks. It looks great from the road. Obviously, the big talk of the town is tassel wrap and all the heat messing with pollination. Inevitably, we won't really know what type of damage that causes until we get some combines in the field. So I think, we've got a potential here over the next month to 2 months to probably, I shouldn't say probably, I should say hopefully put a low in this corn market. So we get those combines running, see what these yields are like. It seems like everywhere I traveled, Missouri looks great. Kansas looks great. I mean, especially for this time of year when it's usually hot and dry everywhere and you're starting to see those southern states burn up. A lot of green corn out there. Iowa looks great. I know there's some issues in Illinois, with delayed plantings and northern Illinois kind of being dry here a month ago. But inevitably, it just seems like the path of least resistance is lower, even though we're selling all the grain we're making. I mean, it's unreal what these export sales are coming through like, and we just continue to drift lower. So I'd like to see some deliveries happen, get those shipments on the books, get that grain gone. But inevitably, it's just the path of least resistance is lower.
Yeah, makes total sense. Did we miss anything today? Anything else that we need to hit on within the markets?
Sounds like a bunch of trade deals getting done with all these countries. A lot of excitement. I'm going to briefly give my opinion that
Do
I think
it.
they're not anything to write home about. I mean, inevitably, we're not going to sell beef to Australia. We're going to sell some to Japan, but I, EU, I mean, they're good. I'm glad we're getting deals and nobody's raising tariff rates. Inevitably, that's good for the economy, but so far we haven't seen a lot for ag. It's
Mm-hmm.
and that's I think part of why grains keep drifting lower. So yeah, just get those feeder cattle covered. Get the feeders
Yes.
covered.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more on that. And I think like the sentiment about trade deals and everything going on, we need them. We need them done. We need them to not be in limbo, I think is the biggest thing. But I'm not freaking out about them either. Because, like you said, we're not going to sell beef to Australia. The beef that we're selling to places like Japan is going to be our special finished beef, like our Wagyus and like everything else in that standpoint. We're not, for the most part, going to be selling just traditional beef to Japan. Yeah. It's great that they're done. It's great that they're signing paperwork and getting things figured out and we're not in limbo and we're not like all freaking out anymore, but it's also like it's not that impactful
Yeah.
for the American agriculturalist.
Yeah. In the long run, I like to remind myself that, even if it doesn't initially give us a big pop in eggs because, there's nothing major in there for eggs to turn these markets around or push them higher. At the end of the day, if it does bring money back to our country in the long term, that is good for eggs. Bring jobs back, push wages higher. Inevitably, that's going to, especially for the livestock industry, rising tide raises all ships. So it just might take a little bit. And sometimes we have to be patient. Not easy to do, but yeah.
Couldn't agree more. And I think that's a great place to end the podcast for today. So, Dan, as always, thank you for your time. Thank you for your insight and everything else that you bring to the podcast. To all of you listeners out there, make sure that you like, subscribe, rate, review, do all of the things. And if you are looking at what we talked about today and the rest of the year and into October, and you're saying, I need to be covered, check out those show notes down below. And we've got that Cattle USA insurance link for you guys so that you can check that out. Without further ado, have a great day, y'all, and we'll see y'all tomorrow.